Welcome to the Sunday Night Chat. My name's Mike. Okay, look, full disclosure, I'm not in a great mood. The last few weeks in particular, but it's been months, and a lot of it is the whole thing I've been dealing with the VA stuff, which is still happening. And I was just on the phone this morning with my guy. He's a retired first sergeant, and he was a professional rater for the VA, and he's a good guy. But months ago, when we were kind of dealing with this, he was also going through personal stuff. Now, he makes no excuses. I pointed this out to him because when I talked to him today, it was I think it was the best conversation we ever had. He was on point, motivated, locked on. But there were times before that where he wasn't. But his dad had cancer and was going through it. He was dealing with all that, plus his own family with his own kids and everything else. And his dad has since passed. So I think maybe that had something to do with things. But without trying to get too into the weeds on the VA stuff, I was in Arizona. What's it been now? Has it been 2 weeks already since I was there, or just a week? I can't even remember. And I was going to stay there for a little while, but a couple things. First, when I got there, my sister did one of her things again, and she said some silly, hurtful shit to me that really kind of screwed my head a little bit. We got past that, and everything's cool, but I don't like that. I don't like when she pulls that. And the other thing was that I got an email from the company that makes the appointments for the VA, and saying, hey, you'll be contacted in the next days. And usually when that happens is like the next day I'll get a phone call, and then like within a day or two there's an appointment. It usually works out that quick. So I thought it was important for me to come back to LA. Ironically, my sister was sick. I was sick. That was a weird trip in Arizona this last time because I was having all kinds of issues physically that I didn't understand. And I was having lower abdominal pain that was really bad. I mean, it was bad enough to where anybody else would have went to the hospital. Honestly, that's how bad it felt. Like, even if I applied pressure to it, it was very painful. I just like, what, did I eat something? Like, what's going on? My sister was going through the same thing, but she actually did go to the hospital. She went once while I was there, but she took care of that. It was fine. And then I guess it was a Monday morning, I think. I drove out, and I left at like 7 o'clock in the morning. And then by noon, I was just about at the border and with California. And the phone, I checked the phone, and there was a message. It wasn't even a message. It was a call from my sister's phone. So I called back, and my niece answered. She's 10. And she's like, Michael, mommy's in the hospital. Can you pick me up? And I felt like a shit. I was 4 hours away. And I had to tell her. She was disappointed. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm on my way back. I'm sorry. So that sucked. And then come to find out, there was no appointment with the VA. And after several days of waiting on that, or about close to a week, I called the number, and they said, well, no, it turned out they didn't need to make an appointment for you. It turned out that was more of a review. And then here it is a week later, and I get these two letters where they're still not going through with it, right? But it's funny with the VA. Well, this isn't even what I wanted to talk about. I was going to bring this up, but I'll just bring it up now. So just so you know, like, the VA is really funny because they want you to put your social security number on every page. You got to do everything by the book. But when they send you a note, it's we received VA form number, blah, 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 on this date. We're returning this application to you because it was incomplete. We cannot process your request until the following steps are taken. And all it says is submit new and relevant evidence. But they don't tell you, like, okay, the form number, so I'm supposed to know which one, because we have several claims here. Like, you think another two sentences of this pertaining to this particular injury or whatever. And the thing is everything's in my records, so I don't know what the hell they're talking about. And the other one was we received your allegation of clear and unmistakable error, which is CUE. Now, this is something that my guy sent them. This is the PTSD thing. I'm not going to get in the weeds with this. I'm not happy about it because I have to relive this year of my life every time I think about it or have to discuss it with these people or anybody else. And it was just a horrible time in my life. Now, look, I didn't go to combat, so you guys, totally different story. This is a separate issue, but just real quick, even speaking with guys who've been in combat, when I tell them about what I went through, to a man, everyone has always said, sounds like PTSD to me. So it's no joke, it's a real thing, and it's fucking crazy. Now, when I filled it out originally, I wrote them a whole story. Then they want me to do it again within their parameters where I had to squeeze everything into these little boxes. And then I had the appointment with the psychiatrist supplied to me by the VA. And he had my original paperwork anyhow. I didn't have to resubmit it because he had the whole story on his computer screen. I saw it. So that was a thing. And I also included 2 guys that I served with at the time with their names, phone numbers, addresses, all that. They haven't been contacted. So it's not like the VA is actually doing their due diligence on this. They say, okay, we received your allegation for a clear and unmistakable error with our decision dated, it was in January of this year, for the VA to consider a request to revise based on CUE. You must specify the factual or legal error you believe VA made in our prior decision. We will take no further action on your request until we receive this information. Now, I sent pictures of these 2 in a text to my Raider guy, and he's fucking pissed because he did this. He sent it to him. He's trying to point out that they're the ones who've made the error because it was well written. I didn't say every single thing because it was a year. If I was to sit here and think about every single thing, every instance. And I want to remind you, this was Seal Beach Naval Weapons Station, where I know personally 2 guys that I still talk to, separately from the other 2, that got other than honorable discharges. The rumor was at the time that Naval Weapons Station Seal Beach had the highest rate of office hours out of the entire Marine Corps. I believe that. It's something I've been told, but I believe it because I saw what happened to so many other Marines there. It was a shit command. Shit rolls downhill, man. And the NCOs there were terrible. And one of the guys I have as a on my side, we were tight. We were pals. We did. We're both from New Jersey, and we did infantry school together at Pendleton. And he had been in the Army before that, and we get to Seal Beach, and we're super tight, getting along, laughing, going out all the time, everything else. They make him an NCO. Next thing you know, he's an asshole to me. Like a total asshole. And years later, we reconnected. He apologized. He's like, dude, they told me to be an asshole to you. So there's, this is a open and shut case. There's no doubt about it. There's plenty of evidence. Here's what happened. The problem is they're not being specific with me. What part of it do you have a problem with? And here's the crazy thing, because my guy tells me, he's like, they say you have PTSD. 100%. They agreed to it. And he's got an inside guy where they did approve it for a short period of time. And he's like, they gave it to you. It was 70%. It's not a problem. But then somebody else reviewed it. I got the call on that where I was told to be home on a certain date for a phone call because it was going to go through a review. I never got a call. So nobody asked me anything. Nobody questioned to verify, nothing. Didn't ask for any extra statements, nothing. They just said, no, we're not going to do it. They denied it. He's telling me that I specifically do not need a nexus letter. The nexus letter would prove that you have the PTSD. So he's like, they're agreeing you have it. They're just trying to say it's not service related. They want more evidence, but they're not telling us why. What part of your story do they not accept? That's what we're dealing with right now. So it's a thing. Like I was hoping this would have been over by now. Separately, this month, I think it's the 23rd of August, all my friends are home. It's our 40th high school reunion, and they want me to be home. And I was kind of hoping this would have been dealt with because the reality is, when this is finally all dealt with, it's been well over a year since I filed all these things. And by the way, the VA is getting off cheap because if I had gone in originally when I should have, I believed all the bullshit. It's a long fucking story that I really don't want to get into. They were making my life so miserable. They really set me up to the point where, and I warned them, I yelled at a major. It was so crazy. The day after I yelled, screamed in a major's face, and then later yelled at my sergeant, my section leader, in front of the whole squad, behind them actually, telling them, if you guys keep pushing me like this, I'm going to fucking kill somebody and the blood's going to be on your hands. After all that, being a busted private, the next day I got my stripe back, which is part of what made my gasket blow in my brain. But after that, it didn't stop. And then there was a bunch of incidents that happened, and I got physical with an NCO who was screwing with me, and that's when they brought me in, and they gave me this out where, because I had this ankle issue, right? I had a bunch of injuries in boot camp and infantry school, even when I got to the base, documented, clear. Doctors went in, they said, yes, this is an injury. But they never gave me an MRI. They never gave me an X-ray. And then years later, on a movie set, all I did was step off of a curb, and what was left of the ligaments in my one ankle popped audibly like a gunshot going off. That was from the injuries in the Marine Corps. I had to get a ligament reconstruction. I was out of work for 4 years. It was an insane time for me. So, and that's all documented. They have the pictures of the surgery, everything from that. So, so crazy. At any rate, they gave me this offer. They said, you sign this piece of paper, which was a lie. They made me lie, saying I had this extreme pre-existing condition. But if I sign it, this warrant officer looked right at me. He said, if you sign that, you can get out. It's medical under honorable conditions. It's 6 months later, she said, it's like the same thing as honorable discharge. I don't know. That's what I remember her saying. But she said, but you don't get any benefits. You're waiving your right to benefits. And I believed that. And I was so upset, heartbroken, everything else, over this whole bizarre bullshit thing that I went through, because all I ever wanted to do was be a Marine. That's it, man. Paris Island, I did pretty good until the injuries, and then I started having issues with my run times and stuff like that. But everything else I did well. I was a good Marine. And they took that from me, this one particular base. And the interesting thing was what that did to me psychologically afterwards, because it was very hard going home and people saying, well, you didn't do 4 years, what happened? And I couldn't explain to them everything in a way for them to understand it. Keeping in mind, we were all young. I was 20 years old. And so, and most of my friends hadn't been in the military, and the ones that were still in. They were still serving. So it was tough to explain to people, so I felt like a piece of shit. And that lie was in my brain, but I didn't think about it. To me, it was like, I'm taking this advantage to get out of here because I'm not going to, I knew I couldn't take any more crap. I really thought I would end up, I was on that path where I was going to end up physically harming somebody. The problem is that they ended up, after a year, that sort of abuse where you're being pushed, you get these triggers built into your brain so that forever after that, and you don't know this when you're young, and I didn't know it, but whenever somebody starts to provoke you or is trying to screw with you, this screw wiggles free in my brain, and it's not good how I've dealt with that. And I got to a point after hurting some people where I realized I can't do that, so I don't. But I deal with it in a way that's scary to people, and so I can't be around. I don't work well with others, let's just say. And so I lost jobs because of it. I've never been able to hold like a regular job working for somebody else, which is why I had to eventually gravitate to learning how to do all the things I know how to do and doing things for myself. But I can't tolerate, I don't have the thing that the rest of you have, where you can do what you need to do working with people. I can't do it. So that's why I don't have money or anything else, because I know I can't be around these people because the thoughts that'll be in my head are unhealthy. So I can't do it. So I have to pick and choose the people I do things for. I have to like those human beings. That's it. And then I'm great. Everything's cool. Just don't fuck with me. Anyhow, that was the thing. The interesting thing is when I went to the psychiatrist, it was the only time I ever talked to a psychiatrist professionally. I've had plenty of clients, psychiatrists, psychologists, all that. Those are interesting conversations with them. And remember, I studied in college too. But that was a thing. Talking to that guy brought out all this stuff that I thought I had a good understanding after all these years of everything. Well, after I spoke with him, and he brought up all these things because I never brought up to anybody that I'm still dreaming about it. I weekly at least. I still have dreams about the Marine Corps. Can you believe that? It's crazy. Like I owe them. I still owe them a couple of years of my time, and that's one of the reasons why I still stay fit and do my pull-ups and everything. It's the craziest thing. Sometimes it's like these stressful dreams, like and or from that time, and I wake up and it's not good. It's not a healthy thing. Something happened there, and I really can't. And look, if I sound like a pussy to you, I agree with you. That's why I don't like talking about it. That's why I shut it off, cut it off. Just did the manly man thing and just sucked it up and worked around my issues. And this is the life that I have, which is not an easy life. But anyhow, this is where we're at. So the point I wanted to make is what came out in that discussion with the psychiatrist was that we touched on the lie. Like, yeah, they made me sign that thing. And that's the first time it came out because I'd never talked to somebody else who was empathetic about it, like whose job it was to help me sort through the mess. It was always just maybe telling the story to somebody that I was just telling the story to, but this guy's job was to help me, right? So that turns a gear in your brain where you start seeing things differently. Before I was just reciting what had happened, and not that I did it very often either, but that's what it was. That's what it suddenly hit me. It's like, oh my God, this is the whole thing. It's because of this. Because I'm an honest guy. I don't lie. I don't lie about things. Ask anybody who knows me. Ask them if they can catch me in a lie. Like a blatant just lie. I don't do that. But having that thing where I did that to get out of there is the thing that's the problem. That's the part that I think has been fucking with me all this time. At any rate, this is where we're at. And it's not over. This guy is all like, dude, I'm on it. Don't even worry about it. But it's going to be now with a couple more months of waiting. And as I was saying, this month, it's 40th anniversary of the high school reunion. I was hoping to have this done now because when it eventually gets done, whatever the rating ends up being, there's going to be a pretty good sized check of back pay from when I filed it. And if it was right now, I'd be golden. I'd be able to drive across the country, see my friends, have a good time, be great, make plans, figure out what I'm going to do from there. But now it's more waiting. One of the things, there was two things said to me today, I don't need to get too into it, that he'd never said before. One of them cleared up in a misunderstanding I had with him with my first appointment when I went to see the ankle guy. If you guys remember, that was Mike Tyson's older brother. And I walk into his office and he looks up from his computer screen. He just looks up at me and goes, "They railroaded you." I'm reading it right here. I could see everything they did to you. I was like, great. And I sat down with him and I told him the whole story. He never looked at my ankles or nothing. He just said to me, "You got nothing to worry about. Clear record of all these injuries. I'll write it up right for you." My rater is adamant that that guy didn't do it. He's adamant that guy was buddy-buddy with you, but then wrote it up in a negative way towards you. And he said he saw that. That was the first time I heard that. So that's kind of a bummer. And then, what was the other thing there? Oh, like when I filled out the paperwork with the PTSD, like I said earlier, I have these two guys that I served with. I still talk to them from time to time. And they're willing to write statements if they're called or whatever, and they've never been contacted. But for the first time today, my rater said, look, if you actually contact them and they can send you the statements and you get that to me now for the next time I file this, which he's going to do this week, then that'll go a long way too with that. So it's like, oh, now you tell me. Again, I think he was just distracted before. At any rate, I have to be patient, which has not ever really been my strong suit. Sucks, man. This is what I'm dealing with. And so that uncertainty of waiting on this, I can't make other plans, the house in Arizona and everything else, till I know what's going on with this. Because, like, if these things would have said, no, you're not getting anything, and this guy would have said, yeah, it's done, that's it. Okay, great. Now I make plans. But no, he's adamant. It's going to go through. You're going to get X. And he's just telling me, he's like, look, he found so many things in my records. He's like, I know I can get you X based on that alone, and we're still working on that. The other thing is a separate thing, the PTSD issue, and that's they agree to it. So we got to get them sorted on that too. And again, he's adamant about that, and the statement should help. So I'm in this holding pattern now with this. Again, that's where we're at with all that. And I mentioned Arizona and everything else. And an interesting thing happened this past week. You guys have to understand, I don't talk to anybody. You know, I mean, normally I have people I talk to pretty regularly, but it's summertime, and so the people I talk to, they're mostly not here. They're like East Coast friends and that sort of thing. They're busy with their own lives, man. And so I'm not talking to anybody, another human being, about life. And when you have discussions with somebody else, you hear yourself say things out loud that when you hear it, you just learn something new or it helps you. You could think about things all you want, but until it comes out of your face and you hear it, then that's when it becomes more of a real thing. Like, oh yeah, I got it. What am I saying? Why haven't I done this? This past week, this guy, Greg, this is a nice guy. He's an older guy. He did well for himself in life, and we recently became friends on Facebook after this. And we've hung out before. And I could just tell from his pictures, he's been a great human being. He has a great family. He has all these grandkids. I think he might have great grandkids. Big family. Just a sweetheart of a dude. And what we have in common is the watch thing. And he contacted me because of a watch I bought, which was a Swiss watch, but not a high-end Swiss watch. It was a Swiss diver from the 70s. And it was, I think it has a Brevitz movement is what it's called. It's a real simple automatic movement. And but the thing was, it was made for Sears. So it had Sears on the dial. And it was in the case and the crystal and everything, and the bezel were in perfect condition. Excuse me, but the movement wasn't working right. And had some issues. And so I think he showed up at the Astrovan meetup thing at the Baghdad Cafe with Wonder Hussy and all that. And that's when he said to me he wanted the watch, and then we went back and forth with it, and then eventually he bought the watch from me. And he came to pick it up, but I had brought it to the watch place, and when they worked on it, they didn't put the rotor back on. And so while you could wind it and it would work, he wanted the rotor. And so I went back over there and got the rotor from them. And they also gave me another Swiss movement. And so he came by this week, and I gave him the other Swiss movement and the rotor, and he's very happy. And he also brought me a better watch tool, a 3-prong watch tool to get the case backs off, and the rubber ball so I can get the case backs off and on. That he had as extra stuff because he tinkers with watches as well. And by the way, he is commissioning me. I kind of started the templates yesterday. This is a Glycine Combat Automatic, and I'm going to be making a band like what's on here for him. And these bands are $300, just so you know. It just takes so long. They are now lined in bison hide, so they'll hold up to the water and everything else. And the holes help it to breathe and all that. This is the Seiko Land Monster. And it's a lot of work to get this to be done right. Anyway, that's what they cost. So if you want one, that's what it is. And that's not a crazy number if you're in this world, and understand what it costs to have somebody make you something custom. You can buy decent quality bands out there, but not to get too into this, apologies. When you're dealing with a watch that has a case size like this, that's this large, you want a meatier band on it. And there's other things about the band that I've learned where you want it thicker here so that it does this thing where it'll contour to your wrist and stay like that and help keep that watch registered on your wrist right where you want it. And then similar with this, although this is a thin case on here, it's a large-faced watch. So you want a band on there that has some presence beyond the lug width, like what you see here where I step this out here. It just looks better on the wrist that way. So I was at Mike's watch shop, and he's the guy that gave me the number on this because he's working on high end watches all day long, and he's like, Mike, that's a $300 band. I was like, all right. He's like, seriously. He says you could probably charge more than that, but he's like, that's a fair number. That's how I got to that number. That's where we're at. I've done them before already. You guys know I've sold a bunch of the cuffs that I make. I sell them with the watches on there, all that stuff. But this is the first job I'm getting where somebody's commissioning this band for a watch, and it is important for me to have your watch so I can fit it correctly to your watch with your spring bars and everything else. Okay, well, back to what I was talking about. We ended up having this conversation. We started talking about life and family stuff and everything else, and I said some things out loud about what my situation in Arizona, which includes some family stuff and everything else. And I realized, like, oh shit, that's why I have to do this plan, because I have to think about the future. Like, I see the writing on the wall. And let me address you guys real quick. I get a lot of comments where you're trying to give me advice. Like, either you think it's what's best for me, or you just don't think I know what's best for me, and you're trying, you don't know everything. You don't know everything that's going on in my life and what I have to deal with, all right? But when it comes to that house, the plan originally was, my mom had me go there a few years before she died, put me on the bank account with her. She wasn't, my sister wouldn't be happy to hear any of this, but, it's such a crazy, convoluted story. Her and my uncle both went in the hospital at the same time. They were both going to die. He died. I got to my mom in the hospital. The doctors and everything credit me with saving her life. I've told the story here before. I got into her head, talked her through it, did some breathing exercises, changed everything. They were blown away. Then my sister showed up, and she stayed there, kind of helped nurse her back to health, which she holds over my head all the time. I helped her out. I stayed here. And then her daughter ended up living with her for those couple of years when she was in high school. Now, during that whole time, it wasn't like a healthy relationship between all of them. And all I ever heard from my mother was how unhappy she was with everybody else. And so she made me go there and say, she said to me, she introduced me to the bank people and everything. And she's like, I want you on the joint account. So when I kick the bucket, you're in charge. You're the executor of the will. You do whatever you want with the money, all this stuff. She specifically said she didn't want my sister to have anything to do with it because at that time she was angry with my sister, which wouldn't make my sister happy. But that's just the reality. At any rate, and I love my sister and we're cool even though she has her moments with all this stuff, which I don't like. So when this all went down, we found notes that my mom wrote that went completely against what she had told me, and even my sister agreed, like, that's crazy, like, that doesn't make sense. But we kind of figured that she wasn't in her right mind at the end anyhow, and she was being pressured by this other situation with the other parts of the family. I'm not going to get too into it here because it's not all your business, And my sister wanted to have more say in what to do with it because in the past when my dad died or my uncle died or other people died, she always felt like she got the short end of the stick with it. So I said, whatever you want. And so the idea was to, sell the house. So we had to wait for 6 months in case somebody else in the family wanted to make some claim on it. And in the end, they didn't. And then I was already on the paperwork for everything. So it was easy for me to take over the house and it's mine, it's in my name, and that's the deal. And the plan was probably sell it. Now, at that time, right up until now, seemingly anyhow, at this area in Huachuca City, Arizona, is like a depressed area. And the houses don't go for a lot of money. In that house, it's a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. It's got a full bath, but it has a little half bath in the garage. It's got new appliances and everything, but it's built 25 years ago and it's never been updated. It needs a lot of work. It needs a new roof. It needs all kinds of work to it. And a lot of you have seen it. Little corner lot. It's a cool little house. The number on it from the town, it's only like $85,000. And we were told at the time like maybe $135,000 just a few years ago. And I told my sister, so I could sell the house. We could split the money, and I'm fine with that. But if we do, how long you can have that money, then it's gone. And I thought, let me keep it for a while and make some decisions on it. And then it turned out that worked out good because my sister had to come out there because her daughter was living out there and she got pregnant and my sister wanted to be there when she had the kid. So I said, the house is there, just live in the house. So she lived in the house for a year or more, rent free. I covered everything. And then since then, she hasn't still gotten all of her stuff out of it. It was a thing with us. But she got her own apartment and everything else, and that's how it's working. But she still goes to the house every week to do laundry and all this. It's a thing. I'm probably revealing too much. But the point is, I spoke with somebody there in the neighborhood when I was there a couple weeks ago, and she told me that a house on the street, on my street, sold for like 240 or something, just months ago. And so that turned a gear in my head because I always said if I could get over 200,000 for it, make it easier for me to maybe sell the house. I know a bunch of you right now, don't sell the house, you'll never get anything else for that, blah blah blah. Here's the thing, I don't like it there that much. It's nice, I could talk myself into it. I have connections there now, I have friends there. It's at 4,600 feet, so it gets a winter. Most of the year it's pretty nice, and in the summertime when it gets hot, it's not that bad. 100 degrees in Arizona at that elevation is not like 100 degrees in Los Angeles where you get more humidity and everything else, and it's, like, ugh. So, and the house has central air and all those other things. But just to look around and everything, it's not what I like. It's just not what I like. I would be much happier on the East Coast. Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe Georgia, the Carolinas or something. A place where I can afford to live, where it's more of a red state sort of. People think that way, and I'm closer to everybody I love there. And closer to the ocean there. I'd surf more if I lived in Kentucky than I do now, and I'm only 11 miles from the beach. You understand what I'm saying? Which is crazy. So my thought process is more along the lines of still plan on living there, like fix it up over the course of the next 3-4 years, put a new roof on it, do all the improvements I want to do on it. I have a vision for it. And part of it is, and some of you should understand this, this whole video is all about me. It's all about me today. Me. 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 Me, 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 me. I've been doing this for 38 years or something now? Helping to make other people's homes worth a lot of money. I know how to do this. I've been doing it for people. So I can improve upon this house where it doesn't cost me anything labor-wise. I mean, it's my time. I'm doing it myself. And I just have to come up with money for the materials. That's where I'm at. I'm in this weird spot here. So right now, until I settle everything with the VA and everything, and so I can make plans, I'm kind of in limbo. I can't do much. I don't have a lot of money. I have no money right now. I haven't been working. So everything's kind of like, I get in these weird headspaces when I don't have something to do. That's why you see me doing these other things. I might have a job. I just got a text from Greg. One of the things we talked about, and I'm not holding him to this, but he has a house in Lake Arrowhead that he basically wants to remodel the bathroom. And just before I started this video, he sent me a bunch of pictures of it, and we had discussed it. So I guess at some point I'll go up there and take a look at it. And if it's something he wants to do, that would be a great gig. That would be good for me. Get me out of LA for a little while. I'd go up there and do a bunch of demo and get things going. And then if I have to make certain things, I can come back here and make them in the shop and then go back up there. And so who knows? Maybe that'll come through. If it doesn't, something else will come through. Again, it always does. Knock wood. So hopefully that'll all work out. But that's everything that's going on right now. That's not even everything. It's just what's been weighing on my brain. It's just a lot. You can't think about it all the time. And if those of you that are married or you have a social thing, like you have your friends that you get together with or people you talk to on a regular basis, you can get that off your chest. You can hear yourself say things, helps you solve your problems, and you can get all that out of the way in 15 minutes to an hour of bullshit with friends or somebody that's close to you. And then you can go about your day and make plans to do the rest of your stuff. I'm wallowing in it. I don't have an outlet to get it out. I do it with you guys from time to time, but that's a thing. So because to break free of that in my brain, I have to do something. I have to distract myself. So what I've been doing lately has been watching Deadwood. Remember the series Deadwood? It's awesome. It's such a great show. The funny thing is like I watch it now after having watched it several times already over the years, and I start to see things that could have been done better. And it kills me. I'm like, oh, that shouldn't have been like that. It should have been like this. They shouldn't have done that first. They should have done this. And why are they saying that now? It should have been beforehand. Like, I'm a pretty good critic with that stuff. Constructive criticism. The thing about that show is that's not a healthy mindset. Like these are people. If you don't know the story of Deadwood, it was a camp that was created in South Dakota there, and gold was discovered. It was Indian land at the time, and it wasn't a state. And all these guys moved in; they weren't supposed to be there. And actually, the army came through and kicked them out at one point, but they went back because of the gold. And so, little by little, people started going there, and very quickly it got built up, and it started getting very sophisticated. And even in the show, anyhow, Hearst shows up. And he's from the Comstock, and he's made money all over the world with gold, and there's all this drama, and there's all these killings every episode. People are just getting, oh yeah, boom, oh yeah, what'd you say, boom, like they're just slitting throats. All the bodies are getting eaten by pigs and everything, and I'm sitting here like not in a healthy mindset, and I'm like, I'm watching this, I'm like, yeah, that looks like a good idea. So it's not healthy. Oh, my brain is being poisoned, I'm telling you, by myself and my own thoughts. It's not good. So it would be nice. So the point is talking to Greg this week was a big deal. It was really good to talk to him. And ironically, I don't seek anybody out to talk to because being a man, I don't want to dump my shit on anybody either. So it's so funny. I know that a lot of you are like, listening to this like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Like those of you that are married and everything, because like at least like you might not want to talk to anybody else, but you can't not talk to your wife. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna make you talk about something. So at least you got an outlet to get that shit off your chest, even if you don't want it to be there every once in a while. They're there. You know what I mean? So you got somebody that should be your best friend. If you're not married to your best friend, what the fuck are you doing? So good for you. I'm happy for you. If I was home, this is the thing about Jersey that I miss the most. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. Friends in New Jersey don't give you a choice. They're your friends, and they're going to let you know they're your friends, even while they're talking shit to your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just going to show up. Let's go surfing. There's waves. That's how it was when I was younger anyhow. We're all older now. We got lives and all that. But it's similar. Like, you're out. And that's the other thing. Like, there's local little bars, which are going away. The whole town is changing. It's already changed. It's not the same place, not even close to it. The bakery closed. It's not coming back. I don't give a shit about that bakery. It's called the Park Bakery. Not to be mean. My dad had the best bakery there. It was Elaine's. That was there before Park Bakery. Park Bakery showed up the same year my dad left. I don't even think I set foot in the Park Bakery. But that's gone. And now there's this place called Captain Hook's, which was probably one of the cooler bars in Seaside Heights. I liked it. Great theme. The whole bar was like a ship. It was really cool. And that's going away. They're going to build a friggin' condo or something there. It's just, but Riggers is still there. You can smell Riggers from a block away. It smells like a men's room urinal. You can smell it. But that place is still there, but they're going to close Hook's. It's crazy to me. At any rate, it's not what it was. But Sawmill's still there. Bum Rogers is still down there. There's still a few places. And that's what people do there. They go out and they're all alcoholics. I'm just kidding. They're not all like hardcore alcoholics, but everybody there pretty much likes to have a beer or a few beers, and that's what you do. And when you go to one of these places, inevitably, you are going to run into people you know. The locals are there all the time. A lot of these people I came up with. I know them. I've known them for decades. If I show up in town, it's like, hey, how's it going? And in summertime or different times, people from out of town always migrate back home, even if it's for a weekend or a week or something, and you run into these people, and it's great, and you get to share, and people know where you came from, and it's a nice thing, and I don't have that in Los Angeles, right? As I touched on earlier, most of the people that I run into here that even want me to do work for them, I don't want to do work for them. After having met them and talked to them for 15 minutes to 4 hours, depending on how that conversation goes, the majority of those people I never want to talk to again after that. But my friends back home, even the ones that I might not like that much, they're still fun. You can still bring shit up, and you could say what's on your mind and everybody gets it, even if they don't agree with you. Like, you could do that. It's good. Mm, Not a bunch of two-faced fucking hypocritical jackasses like I have to deal with out here. Not all of you. Not all of you. A lot of you are good people. If you're here listening to me, you're good people. And I owe you all an apology today because, again, this is just me. And I don't feel like I'm giving you anything good to listen to. This whole week was bad for me with YouTube. All the numbers down. I'm not doing it right. Now we're getting to what I wanted to talk about, which is this channel, because I got to pull my head out of my ass. I got to get positive minded and do things, because I know it's not that hard. I could go someplace in town and do a video on it, and it'll probably do well because I'm interested in things and I may crack my jokes and whatever. And I can talk to people and I can make that happen. Almost like what Wonder Hussy does. It would be different, but I should be doing that, and I don't do it because I'm stuck in my brain with all this shit with the unknowing. I don't know how to break free of it because I don't have anybody to talk to get it off my chest. Okay, it's a broken fucking record now. And, but I could honestly get on one of my bicycles and ride around LA and show you what I see and talk about it, and that would probably do fine. And I just don't make myself do it. And I have to do it. So it's going to have to happen. I don't want to give anything away. There are some things that are going to be happening here in the next couple of weeks that you guys are going to enjoy. You're going to enjoy. You'll see certain people, and it'll be fun for you. But I'm not going to give it up. It's going to have to be a surprise. But that'll be good. That'll be something. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. Now, I did write a whole little friggin' thing here, and to read it would be a little annoying. It's just, I've been paying attention lately to, you guys know I like watching that Gutfeld show on Fox, and we all know what happened with, what's that jackass's name? He used to be on the Jon Stewart show that has his own late night show. Colbert. He's getting fired, and it's really funny because he had Kamala Harris on this past week. Did anybody catch any of that? You shouldn't have, because it was 100% uninteresting. I mean, there's nothing gained there. It's obvious. You watch that interview, no shit, this guy's getting fired. And it was, I said it last week, I think, strictly a business decision. They were hemorrhaging $40 million a year. They got these crazy writing staffs and everything else. Gutfeld's got like 3 guys that write for him or with him on his show. So it is nuts what they're doing. But the big news is Gutfeld's going to be on Jimmy Fallon this week, I think Thursday night. My prediction, that's going to be the highest rated show of the year for Jimmy Fallon for sure. Probably in all of late night television, that show will probably get the highest rating ever. It'll be interesting to see what other guests are on. It's a smart move for Fallon because Fallon is probably the most likable out of all these guys. And he's done some real acting work. Like, he's got some real chops with that. And when Trump ran the first time, he had Trump on and humanized him and made him fun and pulled on his hair and everything. And he got scolded for that. All right. By the people that work with him, work for him. All the other lefties on television and everything else all gave him a bunch of shit for it. And so he snapped back in the line and did what he was told to do. Good doggy. Good doggy. And now we see the writing on the wall, right? Now all of a sudden things have shifted and the woke thing is no more. It's there. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I wrote down the word woke and just the idea, because originally it was just aware, right? Duh. You're aware what's going on. But what happened is that people with TDS, those sorts of people, TDS has nothing to do with what woke became, but I mean, it's part of it. They're the same part, but the gay people and all that. These people that are the minority within minorities even, and within us and everything else, gay people and all these things, and these, who these people are. The betas in the world, who get programmed in college by other betas with a bunch of bad ideas and stupid shit, they gravitate out there and they get into media and entertainment and everything else. And so they start turning media and entertainment into what they want it to be personally. So a minority of people are kind of creating this false narrative. And next thing you know, there's no more white people in commercials. You know, it's like all this crazy nonsense that's been going on. Men and women's sports, men and women's bathrooms. That's what became woke, right? It was woke to accept nonsense, ideas that you can't justify or support with logic. They're strictly ideas that you could somehow justify through emotion. That's all it is. It's how I feel. It's how I feel. My feelings are more important than reality and facts because I feel this way. I don't care if that really happened. It makes me feel bad, so I can't accept it. Listen to me. It's all about my feelings. It's all my feelings. I don't care. I don't care if that really happened. I don't agree with it, so it couldn't have happened. I don't want to hear it anymore. So shut up, fascism. You can't talk. We can't. You can't speak because it hurts my feelings. It goes against what I think. It's like, retards, man. And that's what we've been dealing with, right? It's insane what we've been dealing with, and it's going away now as per this American Apparel. Is that what it is? I can't remember think of her name. Too young for me. I can't look at her. It makes me feel creepy. But she's a pretty girl. Blonde hair, blue eyes. And it's so funny with these lefties. It's like they do this stupid thing. Is it Van Jones, this black guy he's a fucking commie. He's responsible for so much. Is it? No. I think I'm mixing him up with another guy. It's one of those guys. There's a couple of these black guys or these black socialists, black commies that are on CNN as talking heads and everything. And I heard him talking and he was like, he's saying, if we say that a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes is beautiful, it's the same thing as saying black isn't beautiful, basically, which is not what they're saying. It's just, they take this, they say it, and they say it with such conviction, and then their followers, these stupid fucking people, start repeating what that guy just said, which has no basis in reality. There's plenty of beautiful black people too. But stop trying to convince us that disgusting fat bodies are beautiful, because they ain't. Doesn't mean it can't be a beautiful person, right? That's a separate issue. But objectively speaking, a fucking sack of potatoes and a bikini next to a woman who's got a fit, tight body in a bikini, the fit, tight, fat, the fit, hot chick in the bikini is beauty and hot, and the sack of fucking potatoes in the bikini ain't. It's a sack of fucking potatoes. Nothing pretty about a sack of potatoes. So it's okay to admit that because it's reality. This is reality. This is a reality zone here. It's not a fake, nonsensical zone. This is reality here, I'm saying to you. So this thing that they've been trying to do, it's like it's been a stupid test. It's a fucking stupid test, and a lot of you are fucking failing it, and it's aggravating. All this shit just washed through my brain, and I can't slow it down to get it out. Because it was the same thing. Now all these things are coming out about the jab, right? When the thing came out. And now we know that the people that got the jab are far more likely to get sick and die from other things now. It poisoned everybody. And it's the same thing. I just shared a thing on my Facebook page yesterday about the flu. And it's like 20 years ago they did this study where the government was saying, and the media and everything, hey, old people get a flu shot to keep you from dying. Well, they did all the research 20 years ago, and it proved that people getting the flu shot weren't dying. The more people were dying from it. Excuse me. I never got a flu shot. I never got the jab. And it wasn't that I even needed to listen to that. There was something in my brain telling me not to do it. Like I trusted my gut on that. And I was right for doing so. I didn't not do it because Fox News told me not to do it. I did it because I had a gut feeling. I'm tied in with the universe, man. I spend enough time alone where I'm meditating. I'm in a meditative state a good portion of every day, even though I'm not sitting there in an Indian pose and Nam Yo Renge Kyo, Nam Yo Renge Kyo. I did that, by the way. I used to do that back in the day. I don't need to do that anymore. All I have to do is clear my mind, and then things start coming into it. And those things are telling me what to do. And I'm glad well, here it is. I'm not talking to a person. I'm talking to you. And I just heard myself say something that I needed to hear because I need to do that more often. By the way, how do you like my nose? Is it this side? Yeah. See that? Yeah. That was a fucking bar clamp right to the face, man. You'll see because tomorrow I'll be over at the shop. I got to call the VA tomorrow too. I have a mission tomorrow, but I got to install something in the toilet for the Johnsons over there, and then I'll show you. I glued up a couple small cutting boards, and I use these 3-foot heavy duty bar clamps, the big thick ones. They're like a 1/4 inch thick by an inch. The bar, steel bar itself, and the cutting board is only like 10.5 inches wide or so. So they stick out over 2 feet beyond that, and there's 3 of them. And I grabbed it and I flipped it over, and the one in the middle came. I mean, think about that: 2.5 feet of steel, what, bam, right on the bridge of my nose and across the side here, and you know that hurt. I mean, that's like somebody taking a steel bar and hitting you in the face with it, and it came and it whipped around, so it was a good shot, you know. And I just went, oh man. Jeez, and I've been punched in the face plenty. I think I told you. It was one of the first lessons I learned as a young person. My uncle was a boxer, and he came over the house, got on his knees, put gloves on me. I was like 10 or 11 years old. And that's when he started really teaching me boxing. I've been fighting long before that. But he was just all, bam, bam, trying to fucking kiss her, man. Right in the face. Learning how to take a punch is a big deal. Everybody should learn that. You should teach that to your kids right now. Just go punch your kid in the face. Make up a reason for it. Then apologize. Tell him you love him. But you just taught him a good lesson. Anyhow, this thing came down, hit me right on the bridge of the fucking nose. And that put me off. All right? I was not in a good mood after getting hit in the face with a steel fucking rail. Sorry. Gave me a headache. How many lumps you want with that? 3 or 4? You guys remember Bugs Bunny? How many lumps you want with that? 3 or 4? How many lumps you want with that? No more, thank you. Gives me a headache. I'm constantly whacking myself in the skull. I've given myself concussions, a lot of them. That is a thing I am concerned about. I have been knocked out a lot. Out cold. Many, many, many times. I'm a little concerned about that because I do get these weird pains in my head. This is the thing, the reason why I need this VA stuff to go through. Now, while I was hiking 2 weeks ago, whenever that was, in Arizona, one of the guys I was with has been a raider for the VA before and still is connected with the VA. And he was telling me, even with what I have right now, just the 10% rating for the hearing, I can go to the VA and treat that like my doctor. So, and it's also based on what you make, and I don't make anything. I got no money coming in on the books. So I could basically go there now and do it, and I haven't done it. But now that I know, and I thought I had to have 70% to get medical. But now I'm finding out that's not true, and that's what I've been waiting for all this time. So there is a silver lining here. There is some good news. I could go to the hospital right now and sign up, and I need to make that happen. I guess in the next couple of weeks I'll do that. Because I haven't been to a doctor for like a normal physical or anything since 1987. And I should have blood work done. I should have somebody stick a finger up my ass, you know. Not because I like it, but because, you know, it should be done. Should have all this stuff checked out. And I have my testosterone levels checked and all that. I should have all these things done. I've never done it. Never. And I'm nervous about that to a certain degree because, you know, I don't want to dwell on the negative. I don't do that. I'm not that guy. And when I say I've been in my own head about this stuff, that's not dwelling on negative. That's just being mired down by uncertainty and unknowing. That's not the same thing as thinking negatively. I'm not a negative thinker. I'm a positive thinker. That's why I'm usually in a pretty good mood. It's just I get a little bit depressed, bummed out, whatever term you want to use for it, when I don't know what's going on and I don't have control over it. And I don't have anybody to talk to. I need a hug. I need a nice girl who will just give me a hug. Maybe I can make out a little bit. Maybe eventually get her naked and ravage her. That would be nice. God, please. Anyway, I can't afford to pay for it. So, you know, I need some like really what I think is an attractive gal to like you know, show pity on me. help a fella out. Do a guy a favor. Do a guy a favor. It's watching Deadwood is funny because it's all about the horse. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. It really is a nutty show. Anyhow, with all that, I'm gonna let you go. We're done here. Thanks for sticking around and being on this ride with me, because you've seen what's going on lately, and this has not been a great place to be. Like this week, I did a couple videos on the jack, the scissor jack, which is a badass thing. Really, that guy Derek from Gore-Tech USA hooked me up. I did the repair. Watch both. The first one's 51 minutes long. It's a long fucking video, but the next one is pretty good. I show it off and I repair the repair, and I get that right. It does fit in the rear bumper. I'm very stoked about that. Oh, real quick. Some of you noticed, and I saw it too, there's a leak at my rear end. Not this rear end. This rear end isn't leaking. Well, it came close the last couple days. I ate ice cream, and I'm lactose intolerant. I've been taking the lactate pills, but they're not really working. And I've been a mess. TMI, I know. But I'm just saying. I mentioned leaky rear end, and that's what it made me think of. Anyhow, the seal... That's what it's got to be. I didn't even take the wheel off. The only thing that could be blowing grease has got to be the bearing seal there on the passenger side. The way to fix that is take the wheels off, take the brakes off, drain the rear end. I have a new cover that has a drain plug. Pull the rear cover off, get all the fluid out of that. It's a posi traction, so when I put it back together, I got to put the additive in there. But you got to pull the clip, pull the axle, inspect all that, pull the seal out of there. Feel the bearings, make sure they're okay. You got to buy a set of bearings anyhow, just in case they need to be replaced. And bearings and seal, put it all back together, and then, you know, and this is all doable. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. So I'm going to have to do that now, which is not something I want to do. I'll be doing a video on it. So there's that. So I don't know when I'm going to get that done. I'm going to look up Rock Auto, I guess, today or tomorrow and order the parts that I need and then do that. It's been 2 years since I had that done. I was going to get off here, but you guys remember Hoopers, the Hoopers rear end story? They fucked me. They did a shitty job on that. My one axle was sliding out because the clamp, the C-clip fell out, because the unit, the posi traction unit they put in wasn't adjusted properly. So I brought it to this other place, Performance 4-Wheel Drive, I think it's called. I think that's what it's called. Great guys, and that guy did not like that posi unit, so he put another, I think we put the Eaton posi traction in it, and both my axles were too worn where the clips went in, so he ordered me 2 new, well, they weren't new. Excuse me, he found 2 used axles. And this is what has me nervous about replacing the seal on the passenger side. On the end where the wheel is on, it's rusty in the center. That's the axle. So when I take this apart, I'll hit that with the wheel and paint it black so it looks better. But there's a possibility, I don't think he would have done this. This is a reputable guy. But there's a possibility that that axle isn't smooth. And that's why that seal is leaking. And if it isn't, I can sand it a little bit, but you can't take too much off because it's got to fit in that seal that you put in there. So it might be just the seal went bad. I won't know until I take it apart. That's what I got to do. When I put it back together, I got to make sure I lubricate everything properly. It could also be they didn't put a gasket sealer in when they put the bearing in, and it's leaking from there. I won't know until I get the wheel off and eyeball it, so I should really do that. Anyhow, that's a thing that's going to happen too. Okay. Thanks for making it this far. I really do appreciate it. Make some comments down there, because it's a good thing for me for the channel. And I'll catch you on the next one. Be nice to somebody, like out of the blue. Like a guy like me could be walking around kind of like ho hum, and then some stranger could be, hey man, I dig that or this. And it's like, oh hey, thanks, and just lift somebody else's spirits for no other reason other than knowing it's the right thing to do. And I'll catch you all in the next one.